Welcome to episode 2A of the Career Cumulus Spotlight Series. Today, Joanne is going to take us through a quick overview of the role of a respiratory therapist.
All right, so I want to kind of dissect your rich experience, if you don't mind. Okay. So let's start off with the respiratory therapist. And I always have a hard time pronouncing that. I don't know why, but I always do. Respiratory therapist. Let's start with that role.
Okay.
So what were some of the requirements that you needed for the role? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? What was like a typical day like? And what exactly does a respiratory therapist do?
I'm glad you asked. A lot of people don't realize what a respiratory does. So I went to, like I said, a college. I went to an accredited college, and it was, back then, things changed, was a 2-year degree. So you would do your prerequisites, then you'd go back and delve into the actual curriculum for respiratory therapists.
Okay.
So that's usually like a 2-year because you get an associate's in science.
Okay, got it.
Okay. What a therapist does is they basically do depending on what unit, which area of the hospital you're working at, depends on what you do. Respiratory goes everywhere from putting people on the oxygen, weaning, which means kind of trying to get people off oxygen, whether they need to add more, take some away, by percentages, for instance, to giving respiratory treatments, kind of like most people think about it when you think of an asthmatic. You give them breathing treatments through nebulizers. We give those treatments. Sometimes if we have a patient with cystic fibrosis, we do what we call CPT, which is chest physiotherapy, and we basically clap on the lungs to help bring up the sputum, bring up the mucus. In the ICU, it's a different perspective. You're the one handling the ventilator, the breathing machine. So you play an integral part in the care of the patient. Basically more focused on the respiratory aspect. So, you work together with the doctors, you work with the nurses, and we do what we call, sometimes you'll hear people talking about, weaning, extubating off a ventilator. That's the respiratory therapist. They're trying to, working with the doctor, to see how we can get them off that breathing machine so they can start breathing on their own. So the therapist plays an integral part in the patient's care.
Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for our next episode where we will share the type of schedule and hours that a respiratory therapist would typically have. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and follow for more insights.